morning, boys and girls. We're going to be listening to a really good story today. The story's name is Corduroy. It's about this little bear here, and it is written and illustrated by Don Freeman. There's actually a lot of stories about Corduroy. This is the very first story Don Freeman wrote about him. Now, as you listen today, we're going to practice being really good listeners. So I want you to pay attention because after the story is done, I'm going to ask you what happened in the story, and we're going to see if you remember what happens. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day he waited with all the other animals and dolls for someone to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then, one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, it's the bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He lost a button on one of his shoulder straps." Why did that girl's mommy say no? Do you see where his button is missing here? So he's broken. Do you think anyone is going to buy him if he's already broken like that? That would be so sad if no one buys him. Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight, I'll go see if I can find it." Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and all the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Could a teddy bear really climb down from a shelf and walk around? This book is what we call fiction. It's a make-believe story. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving. Quite by accident, he had stepped on an escalator, and up he went. Could this be a mountain? Corduroy wondered. "I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain." Is he right? Is it a mountain? No. Escalator, they're like moving stairs, right? They're not a mountain. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there, before his eyes, was a most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. "This must be a palace," Corduroy gasped. "I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace." Is he right? Is it a palace? No, that's actually another part of the store. This is the part of the store that sells furniture. So it's a little furniture store there. He wandered around, admiring the furniture. "This must be a bed," Corduroy said. "I've always wanted to sleep in a bed." and he crawled up onto a large, thick mattress. All at once, he saw something small and round. "Why, here's my button," he cried, and he tried to pick it up, but like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. Is that his button? No, that's just the way that mattress is. It has buttons tied to it, but they're not corduroys. He yanked and he pulled with both paws until pop! Off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled, bang, into a tall floor lamp. It fell over with a crash. Uh-oh. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going on his rounds on the floor above, and when he heard that crash, he came dashing down the escalator. "Now who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. "Somebody must be hiding in here." The night watchman is kind of like a security guard or a policeman that watches the store. Make sure nobody steals anything, right? He flashed his light over and under the sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all. And there he saw two fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the covers. "Hello," he said. "How did you get upstairs?" He doesn't know Corduroy can walk, does he? The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator and set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Oh no, did Corduroy ever find his button? Do you think anyone's gonna buy him? That poor guy. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning. And there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he saw yesterday. "I'm Lisa," she said, "and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could take you home." "Shall I put him in a box for you?" the saleslady asked. "Oh, no, thank you," said Lisa, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs into her family's apartment and straight to her own room. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a dresser and, alongside a girl-sized bed, a little bed, just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like that palace at the department store. "This must be a home," he said. "I know I've always wanted a home." Is he right? Yeah, it is a home. Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like you the way you are," she said, "but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened." "You must be a friend," said Corduroy. "I've always wanted a friend." Me too, said Lisa, and she gave him a big hug. The end. Was he right? Did he find a friend? And that's the wonderful story about Corduroy. Now, if you were one of my kindergarten friends, we're going to see if you were really listening and remembering what was happening in the story. On your class dojo, you have 4 pictures about Corduroy. 3 of the pictures happened in the story, but one of them is trying to trick you. It didn't happen. So you're going to color the 3 pictures that happened in the story. But did you color that picture that didn't happen? If you want, you can put a big X on it. Don't color it. Don't get tricked. I can't wait to see your papers. See you next library, boys and girls.